grew up in a large family in upstate New York, one of 9 kids. And my father was a dentist, and he had his practice right in our house. And my mom worked for my father, so it was a very busy small house in a small town in upstate New York that we were all from. I was the oldest of 9, and I think that's why I was able to get out as fast as I could. Went to school at St. Bonaventure University, became an accountant. Worked in New York City for Price Waterhouse initially out of school, but eventually I realized I enjoy people a lot more than numbers, and that's what eventually led me here to Delta.
Well, Ed Bastian with Delta Airlines truly fits into the Laureate recognition from Junior Achievement because he is one. He is an achiever.
Well, he understands human nature. He understands what people need to be able to do their jobs. And so he gives them the tools that they need and gets out of their way and lets them do it.
He's a laureate because he's defied what we would commonly think of as chief financial officers having a true heart for people and being a people-centric business. He restored this idea, we love to fly, and it shows mentality among the culture of Delta Airlines.
Clearly, everything that we did through the last few years, getting Delta through COVID, keeping the company whole, keeping our employees whole, getting through this pandemic without laying off a single employee or cutting anyone's pay to get there is, I thought, would be a goal that could not be achieved, that I set for myself early on in the pandemic, and we achieved it.
Ed was key to finding ways to rebuild the success of Delta Airlines. And what is fascinating is he's doing it again. Sometimes a person of Ed's stature and talent will make a contribution one time and won't hang in there for the second time. But what we have in Ed is someone who cares deeply about the industry, the people, and we have someone who cares deeply about the city and understands Delta's success really uplifts the success of the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia.
During the pandemic, I think everything he did and that the Delta organization did was absolutely textbook perfect. They are an amazing group of people that he leads.
Yeah, Delta is a company that's had its hard times, not just during the pandemic, 9/11, bankruptcy, mergers. And I understand clearly how important Delta is to Atlanta. And so as Delta has continued over the course of the last 20 years to continue to grow and build strength and gain stature, to me, it's reflective of the support we receive in the community, and that's a big source of pride for me.
I think part of the secret of his success is that he handles the turbulence of life on the ground like his pilots handle the turbulence in the air. They follow the instruments, they follow their instincts, and above all, they keep you safe and comfortable flying through the storms.
I've loved watching how Ed balances the business decision with his commitment to philanthropy, but more specifically, his commitment to people who need help. So he embraces diversity in a fundamental way, understands that people bring different talents and skills. And you see that in the workforce at Delta Airlines. But you also see it in their charitable giving. And I, of course, love him because he was an early adopter and advocate for eliminating human trafficking.
But I also know that the more that you're blessed, the more that you receive, you're given. Also, there's a requirement to continue to bless others. And so for me, I realize there's a bigger calling on my life than just doing my job and taking care of my company. It's about impacting my community, and I find that's also one of the great sources of pride and pleasure I take when I see the impact we're having in so many different ways here in Atlanta.
Ed tries to find something in everybody that he can love, and he brings out the joy and the happiness and the love in your life because he shares with you the joy and happiness and love in his life. while flying you wherever in the world you want to go.
He's the kind of guy that reminds me of Bernie Marcus, Arthur Blank, who walk around in an orange apron at Home Depot. He's the guy that is very customer focused, very customer centric, wants to live the life of understanding how these experiences are coming off to customers. He's the guy that's sitting in the back of the plane. And any leader has to admire that genuineness, that humility that takes, but how powerful that is, how endearing that is.
I always tell my children that the key to life is finding out what you really love and finding that passion. And it's a passion that I've loved. It keeps me going and it keeps my energy really high. Well, Atlanta's home. I've been here now 25 years, longest I've lived in any one place. Atlanta's a community with a big heart. Atlanta's a community with a lot of complexity. There's a lot of forces here in Atlanta, a lot of change happening. But Atlanta's a city on the move, and it's a city that I've grown to love.
Without Delta and without a airline that can take you anywhere in the world whenever you want to go, Atlanta wouldn't be Atlanta without Delta, and Delta wouldn't be without Ed Bastian.
Ed Bastian is a laureate in the J.A. Atlanta Business Hall of Fame.